Hello and welcome back. Once again, it is time for the golden age of DC Comics, 365 days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. This has been surfing my coffee table ever since, and it is a source of great comic book conversations, the kind that we used to have in the comic book stores. And I'm looking to recreate that here today with you. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is an Abrams 2004 publication, written and curated by Les Daniels, Chip Kidd, and Geoff Spear. There is a link to the Amazon page in the description, so you can get your own copy, play along at home. It will look great on your coffee table and makes a great gift for a geek. I know. What goes better with a coffee table book than coffee table talk? Some freshly brewed coffee. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Keep grinding. Yes indeed. He'll even show you how to make a cup of coffee too. This is great. Look at this infographic. This is so awesome. I love the font because it's like that Star Trek font. And I'm such a geek. I love fonts. I love printing publications. Yeah. The golden age of DC Comics. We're going to use this book for its intended purpose. It's a 365 days book. We're going to open up to today's date, which is July the 31st. We're going to look at some art, comic book art from an antediluvian age. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. You know, tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. But we're opening the book to today, and I hope you're doing awesome. I hope that you're feeling well and you're healthy, and I hope you're clobbering all your challenges and not being clobbered by your challenges. There is sometimes a conscious choice to be made in this world where you need to, you know, I gotta control this day, or this day is gonna control me. And sometimes it's always that simple. Yeah. Maybe sometimes it's like what Jim Gordon sometimes used to say in the old Batman funny books. He thinks of his wife Sarah. The rest is easy. Yes, Jim Gordon. I love Batman. But I'm also going to take a minute and do what I always do at the beginning of the show. Talk about the escapism caveat. Activism is important. Activists are important. They are literally trying to save the world. The world is in trouble. And they're just, trying to be good people and trying to make the world a better place for everyone and all living things, apparently, yeah. But the past several years have shown us that activists can be bullies, especially when they invade pre-existing spaces. They're trying to use things such as our superhero fandom, and our TV shows, and our sports, and our video games, and our churches now to spread a social message. They were being used as their platforms. And what's as important as activism is escapism, the ability to leave behind the world's problems with a fiction or a pastime or a game, and not to be constantly reminded. We need to forget our problems just for a few moments, and that's the whole point of being part of this fandom and being part of this great group experience. I actually have come to a conclusion using history as my lens that activists and activism, they are an ideological and cultural colonialists now. Okay, like let's look at history. Like look at the Dutch, or look at the British Empire, or Spain and the conquistadors and Christianity, or any other invading kind of force. You had a pre-existing population in a space. They have a culture, they have a language, they have mores, they have ethics, they have a group identity, they have group expectations. And now in comes an invading culture, an invading force that demands the resources, and it demands capitulation and adherence to their new mores and their new religion. And if you don't go along with it, there's something bad about you. You're othered and you're a savage. I mean, that's just history. I mean, and I see that in play here with activism, and especially invading fandom spaces. And I believe that activism deserves respect, that it has a space, that it has a place, and it can keep to it. I'm just a little tired of it, of the real world in my fantasy. That's the whole reason for fantasy, is to forget the real world just for a few moments. Only a complete asshole would take your fun away from you. Only a complete bully would continually rub your nose in something, and after you're begging for them to stop. Stand up to these bullies and fight for your escapism. But let's get to it, the fun stuff. It is July the 31st. We're going to crack this book open and look at some art from an antediluvian age. The golden age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age begins in 1956 and runs until 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby, is between 1970 and 1985. And the Copper Age begins in 1985. And there are many discussions that I would love to be part of, talking about the ages of comics and what age are we in currently? What age do we just leave? There are conversations that I would love to contribute. And this is from Whiz Comics, number 51, February of 1944. There's no writer or art credit here. Whiz Comics was a Fawcett Comics publication, and we are once again hanging out with Ibis the Invincible, and specifically we are talking about his magic wand, the Ibis Stick. Here we go. There's Ibis. He's a man of color, he's Egyptian, and he was a big superhero in the 1940s. Yeah, here's an instance of good representation and of good diversity. Do you think so? I hope so. That's what I get from Ibis. So he says, Ibis Stick, put out the fire. It's a magic wand, and it's going to obey the command of its wielder. And sometimes it's not Ibis, and sometimes it was his girlfriend that commanded the Ibis Stick. And let's read the blurb. It's July the 31st, and I hope you're having an awesome day. Seriously. And the Ibis Stick, which empowered the all but omnipotent Ibis the Invincible. Let's try take two. Hello, welcome to Storytime with Sully. The Ibis Stick, which empowered the all but omnipotent Ibis the Invincible, was also his Achilles heel. If someone else got their hands on it, Ibis was powerless. This dramatic panel is from a largely humorous story in which Bobo the Hobo acquires the magic wand and enjoys a life of luxury. The burning bed is Bobo's, but Ibis is back in control to save the day and set things right again. Hint, the butler did it. Dun dun dun. Yeah, let's look at the art again real quick. Don't cover up the panel there. Yeah, that's just art from an antediluvian day. He's wearing a turban. He's got that was his shtick, to identify him. He's actually about 4,000 years old. He was we're gonna read from the wiki, because that's why I make a show, is to read from wikis. I've got this from the DC database, specifically about the Ibis Stick, and I saw a different one. It was the Injustice Mobile Wiki, and it's literally because it's a DC power artifact. So in the Injustice game, which is an alternate universe where Superman has become a totalitarian ruler, and the heroes split up two sides, pro-Superman or pro-Batman, and they're the outlaws and renegades who sided with Batman. What happened was Joker kills Lois Lane and their unborn baby. Superman kills Joker and steps up to save the world finally and once and for all. but the Ibis stick does not. On the Injustice Mobile Wiki is all about its hit points and its magic points, RPG kind of stuff. But 4,000 years ago, an Egyptian craftsman created a mystical wand and gave it to his nephew, Prince Amenhotep. Dubbing the wand his Ibis stick, Amenhotep used it to save the life of his beloved princess Taya, who had been felled by a poison arrow fired by the dark sorcerer known as the Black Pharaoh. Amenhotep knew that Taya required time to properly heal from that wound, so he used the stick to place her into a state of suspended animation, then cast the same spell on himself. In 1940, the wizard Shazam used his own power to awaken Amenhotep, and he adopted the name Ibis the Invincible and used the Ibis stick to track down his sleeping Taya. He found her wrapped as a mummy in a museum several miles away. He used the magic wand to awaken his love, and together they engaged in a series of occult adventures throughout the United States and Egypt of the 1940s. That's Ibis the Invincible, yeah. And he would be on Earth S of the old multiverse. And apparently he's also part of the Arrowverse as well. That's exciting. And that's really cool. I didn't know that. Cool. There was also I think there was a second generation Ibis that was a descendant, and then he received the Ibis stick, and the Ibis stick, the magic wand, kind of like Harry Potter, same kind of prop, and Ibis was the Fawcett Comics magician. Over on DC, you had Zatara, and his more famous daughter is Zatanna, the current magician of the DCU. Both were based upon Mandrake, the magician, who was hugely even more popular than both of them put together. Mandrake was a daily newspaper strip, and so the daily newspaper strips was where the top tier funnies were. Yeah, comic books were. These superhero comic books were second rate compared to the daily newspaper strips. And we've been talking about the golden age at DC Comics, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. I make daily content here. We talk about cooking, spirituality, gratitude. If there are planets in the sky, the pre-dawn sky, I will point them out. I also point out bunnies eating their breakfasts in shorts. I love these little nature moments, and I love to bring some positivity and some ebullience to our fandom and to our YouTube day. So please, come aboard. There's plenty of room for everyone. Cheers, God bless, namaste, good luck, and we will see you again in the funny pages tomorrow. Bye-bye.